Welcome back, everybody, and we'll wrap things up with head coach Rechelle Turner. Coach, first thoughts on the game, and we'll open up to questions.
I thought we came out with really good energy in the first part of the game and got things going. Did some good things offensively and really got after them. We continue to play well in spurts, but we continue to still have those spurts where we go a little bit stagnant. But our defense and our rebounding continues to be there, and that's the identity of our program right now. So as long as we can continue to defend and rebound offensively, I think we'll get better as we continue to tweak some things.
Meanwhile, your shooting is getting better. You got to be happy about that.
For sure. And it's a mindset thing. We've talked about that a lot. We talked about mindset before the game started. You know, things are only going to happen to you if you believe they're going to happen to you. And that's something as simple as believe the shot's going to go in. Be surprised if it doesn't. And I think Jordan brought that mindset today, really shot the ball comfortable. Macy was her normal fluid self, you know, catching the ball just in great rhythm, being able to finish those shots from the outside. So when we start seeing those shots go in, we understand that that's a big part of our offense.
You're of 12 at the end of the first. It's easy to let off the gas a little bit. What was your message to the team going into the second quarter?
Well, we divide all of the quarters into 2 games. So we play 8 games within the game. And so once that quarter's over, it starts over. So our message always is it's 0-0. We're going back. We've got to win this next segment. And so I think that focus helps us not to let up. They got back in it a little bit, but then towards the end of the first half, probably the last 4 minutes maybe of the first half, I thought we really injected ourselves defensively, rebounding, pushing the ball off the floor and getting the shots that we wanted.
Of course, I don't think it was too hard for them to understand, for your team to understand this USI program is pretty darn good. They have been for a long time. I know they're just now getting into 1AA, or 1A, but pretty easy to figure out that they can come back at you.
Oh, absolutely. Rick does an amazing job at that program. They've been a powerhouse in the league that they were in. And I was just talking to him before coming in here. They're going to be just fine in the OVC. They're physical. They play hard. They've got shooters. They got a little bit of inside out. And they're going to be a tough out when it comes conference time. Nobody in the league definitely needs to overlook them. He does a good job. He puts them in a good position to be successful. So they're definitely not a team we took lightly at all today.
Coach, since the last time I've talked to you, there's been a bit of a change in the starting lineup with Jada stepping in. What was the idea behind that? Push more defense, get a little bit more physical down low.
We feel like we have 10 kids probably that could start, to be honest. And there's so much emphasis put on who starts. And I think that is the least important decision made for the game. I've seen people start and play 2 minutes, never get back on the floor. I think who's in the game when it truly matters in crunch time says the most. But because we have so many that we feel like that we can start, then we basically just go on a day-to-day basis, you know, who's feeling best, who's doing the best, who's giving us the most energy, who needs opportunity to kind of sit over there and see how things are going, kind of get themselves ready to come in the game. Because going into conference, we want to get our rotation to where we want it to be. And right now we're still tweaking that. I'm not sure after the first 3 games that we've had the same starting lineup. And it's probably going to continue to look at like that through the dress rehearsal of the non-conference.
I want to talk about Fruzina and Jada real quick. They both look like they got their offensive game going today. In fact, I saw Jada actually ask for the ball on a play, and that's I've never seen that. That's a real improvement, I think.
Right. Jada's focus is defense and rebounding, and because she focuses on that, then offense is going to come. You know, she's not strictly focused on scoring the basketball, but she's very capable of doing that. And when you play as hard as she does, you're going to put yourself in a position to score. When you play opposite Caitlin Young, you're going to be open a lot of times. So, you know, whoever's in that position has to take advantage of that. And I thought JB did a great job of doing that today. Fruza scores. She's capable of shooting. She's capable of making 3 mid-range. She's got some post moves. One of her best attributes is passing the basketball. And that's something that we really haven't seen a whole lot yet, is she's an outstanding passer and getting everybody else involved. So, you know, she's just continuing. I think where she's struggling the most is on the defensive end of the floor. She fouls a lot because she's still trying to figure out the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, the way we like to play. So as that catches up and her defense and her passing catch up with her offensive skills, then I think she'll be more comfortable. But I mean, she's definitely a kid that we need moving forward to be able to come in and give us great minutes.
Coach number 22, Rayleigh, was shooting 55% going into the game. Today she shot 5 for 16. Was there a conversation about shutting her down going into the game?
There's definitely a conversation about 22 and 20. The Shafford kid is an outstanding shooter. And she doesn't take her long to get the ball off. So we identify the biggest threats in our scout. And regardless of what defense we're in, we're going to take that away. We may give up something else. I know a lot of people probably sit in the stands and wonder why we give us so many isolation post moves up. Why are we leaving our post players down there on an island? Well, for one thing, I'm going to give you a math lesson. A shot in the paint's worth 2 points. A shot behind the line's worth 3. And if we're exchanging 3s for 2s, and if we're only giving up 2s and not 3s, a lot of time we're going to come out ahead on the scoreboard. So that's a little lesson for you right there, if you didn't know. But that's a great question. But it's a total focus. It's a total scout. We have different closeout. We call them hands and feet. And if they're a hands closeout, they do not shoot a 3 without being run off the line. And at times when Shafford and Rayleigh made those shots is because we didn't run them off the line. But they're, again, just like I said, they've got that can make. They got toughness. They got a little bit of size. So I mean, they're a team that you better be ready for, and you better have them scouted out because they're going to win some games this year for sure.
So I thought you made them really work hard to get their shots, and some of them went in, but a lot of them claimed off the rim, and some didn't even find the rim.
And that's the whole purpose of our defense is we want them to take the shots we want them to take. And if they're taking pull-up jumpers or they're taking runners or they're taking fall-away shots in the post, those are the shots we want to take. We do not want to give them the rhythm 3s and the rhythm shots that most girls have a tendency to make. So we still have some tweaking to do on our defense, but I've been really pleased with the effort and the execution for the most part.
Offensively, I know we kind of touched on it already, but I'm not a big plus minus guy. I don't drool over the plus minus numbers, but not one of your starters were below 20 on the plus minus. It was all plus 20 and above. I mean, that's pretty remarkable for a game.
It is, and I do love analytics, but I don't like the plus minus chart either. I think that there's a lot of nights. There was one night where I think at Martin where Caitlin had 31 and 12, and it said we were only +4 with her on the floor. I'm like, wait a minute, we're plus 50 on the floor with her on the floor, period. I don't care if she scores or not. And so I understand where you are, and I argue with that. I argue with the plus minus all the time. But today, I do think that first group really had a lot of energy and effort and a lot of continuity about them. And when we did go 5 in, 5 out some, which I normally don't do. And I do think that messes up our rhythm. So that's probably on me. But to see all 5 of them above 20 is something special.
Well, I guess we talk about what's always the elephant in the room with Caitlin. I mean, she only had 12 points after 31 at Martin, but we were talking at halftime. She might have ended up with a triple double. She had 5 assists at half, 7 rebounds, 9 points, and we were sitting there like, has a triple double ever happened with women's basketball at Murray? We weren't sure, but I mean, what more can you say about her being such a great player? She's getting national recognition now. Is it time for her to get her due?
Oh, she's a godsend to our program. She's a program changer. But I will be watching film with her tomorrow or the next day, and I will be talking about the fact that she only shot the ball 7 times. I don't like that. That's not good enough. She needs to be getting more shots, and she needs to be getting more shots because we need to be doing a better job of getting her the ball, and she needs to be doing a better job of getting open to get the ball. So I stay on her pretty good. There's a lot to be praised by what she does, but yeah, I mean, 12 points, 6 assists, 10 boards. And if she probably would have played her normal minutes, she probably would have gotten it. But I still think that there's more in there. I still think that she has more in her arsenal that she hasn't tapped into. So I'm going to continue to push her through that. But again, when she's on the floor, she changes everything. She changes the way the other team has to guard the rest of us. And the fact that Macy's making shots, Jordan's making shots, we're getting some 3s made around, makes me realize that once we can get that inside out game going, get her about at least 15, 20 shots a game, making those 3s, then we will be more difficult to guard.
I guess my last thing, they're 5-1 now, you're a month into the season. How's everything feeling and what are you looking forward to up ahead?
Well, I still think that there's a lot to work on. I mean, there are times that I look at us and I think, okay, you know, we're going in the right direction. And then we'll have a stretch of 3 or 4 minutes and I'm like, I just don't think we're any better than we were, you know, 2 weeks ago. But I think that's part of coaching, and you want everything to be perfect and you want everything to be fluid and you want everybody hitting on the same cylinders. But, you know, we have kids on our team that are not playing anywhere near where they're capable of playing. And I think when they get that confidence back and they elevate their game, that they're going to elevate us even more. But, you know, we're doing what we have to do and we're taking care of business each and every time out. This break's going to be good for us in some ways, but, you know, you get out of game rhythm and then we come back and we play a very good Austin P team here at home. We struggle of the season. So it's going to be a great crowd atmosphere. We've got to be ready for it. And then we go to Kentucky. So things are getting ready to be a little tougher, but that's what we need. We need to be in tough things where we have to make decisions and we have to make plays getting ready for the Valley.
All right, that'll do. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
That'll do it, everybody. Thanks.